Aubrey, would you say that Americans have a strong work ethic?
Yes, I think so. Most people I know, especially of my age, my generation, it's hustle culture, right? We work hard,
Totally.
play hard, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a lot of people have this discussion about their culture, whether we work too much or not enough, or if you're lazy, or even generationally. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, millennials, you work ethic is so poor," whatever. But this topic of work ethic, this comes up a lot in different contexts on IELTS, and that's why we're bringing you a special business episode today from All Ears English.
Yes, and it's going to be so great for IELTS speaking because you're going to learn 4 idioms with the word work. And these can be so useful for that idiomatic language that you have to use on IELTS speaking.
Totally, totally. So just to throw some IELTS topics out there that you guys can use this information on and this vocabulary on, questions about culture, nation, work, business, work-life balance, for example, like that comes up a lot in writing task two, that work-life balance thing. So definitely, guys, listen to this conversation so you can start developing your own opinions, your own ideas about work ethic and culture and how it connects. And also, of course, write down the 4 idioms they teach you with the word work. So remember, guys, this is a business English podcast from All Ears English, from the new Business English podcast, the whole show by itself. So before you listen to that, guys, go ahead and search All Ears English, Business English, and follow that podcast. And Aubrey and I will be back after the episode to tell you about our favorite idiom.
Awesome. Let's listen to the episode.
This is an All Ears English podcast, episode 450. Do you work like a dog? The reason behind the American work ethic.
Welcome to the All Ears English podcast, downloaded more than 16 million times. We believe in connection, not perfection, with your American hosts, Lindsay McMahon, the English adventurer, and Michelle Kaplan, the New York radio girl, coming to you from Boston and New York City, USA. Today, find out what the underlying belief is that makes Americans work so hard and learn 5 idioms that highlight the work ethic in the U.S. Good morning, Michelle. Happy Monday. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Lindsay. I'm good. How are you?
I am good. And Michelle, I want to start with a question for you today. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here's the question, Michelle. Do you work like a dog?
That's a good question, Lindsay. Sometimes, yes, sometimes I work like a dog. I have a lot of stuff to do, get very busy, and, but it's good. It's good to be busy. How about you?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, Michelle, I think you're a really hard worker, and I think that's good. Like, I find a lot of merit in a good, solid work ethic. It's kind of I feel like in some ways it's becoming a bit of an old fashioned thing, unfortunately. But I still think that a good, solid work ethic is the only way we can become successful in life and get good things done. But yeah, what do you think?
Thank you. I think you're a hard worker too. Definitely.
Yeah, I work really hard, but I love my work. So that's the important thing. That's why we want to choose something that we love. And we talk about that on this show all of the time. Right, Michelle?
Right. Yeah. It's really important that you feel good about work. It's hard to find something that you feel that good about. And sometimes, you may not be able to do what you really, really want to do. But if you can try as hard as you can, that's the best, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain realities around the world, and we realize it's not easy for everyone to immediately get into a position or a job that they love. But I think that we can still always be striving towards a career life that really fulfills us, and, we change as people as we get older, and we have to recognize that maybe our interests change. So, but today, Michelle, we're talking about this concept of the idea that Americans live to work. Do you think that's true?
I think so. What do you think? I definitely have found that.
Well, I've had this conversation with a lot of my European students, especially Western European students, and they always say Americans live to work, and in other parts of the world, we work to live, right?
Yeah, we work to live. Yeah. I remember when I went to study abroad in London, actually, and I was doing an internship, and I remember one of the first things, I never forgot it from our internship course. We had a course as well, and they said, they put up a quote on the board that said, Americans live to work, and I don't know if it was Europeans or the rest of the world, I don't know, but work to live. And I remember that really stuck with me. I never forgot that one. So
I know, it's true. Well, and I think everyone has a different opinion about this. I don't think either way is right or wrong. That's not what we're here today to say. It's just that it's really interesting to tease out our thoughts on this. And I think it comes back to these basic kind of psychological differences across cultures, right? There are some different cultural ways of looking at life and looking at the world. And it comes back to this sense of where is our control, right? In our mind, do we have an external idea of control or an internal idea of control, right? So what does that even mean, right? That sounds
I was
really funky.
Ask you that. That's very profound.
What
I
does
had to
that
wrap my
mean?
head around that one. Can you explain more?
Well, I mean, it's really interesting. So we talked about this a little bit in my graduate program on intercultural communication, and the Pew Research Center, which we cite a lot on this show, did a little research, and they found that 57% of Americans disagreed with this following statement: success in life is pretty much determined by forces outside of our control. So that means that a higher percentage than that is actually a higher percentage than most nations. And it's far above the global average, which is 38%, right? So what does that mean, Michelle? I mean, where do Americans think success starts?
Right. So it means that, Americans believe that it's in our control to be successful, right, Lindsay?
Right. So if you believe that, what are you going to do?
You're going to work for it.
Exactly. I think that that's a really important thing to think. And again, it's so hard to talk about American culture because it's such a huge culture. Everyone is coming in from different parts of the world, immigrating here. Our families are from different parts of the world. We get messages in different ways. But again, this is it's a research study, and they've looked at the real numbers, and there are some numbers behind this. So I think that's really interesting. I mean, what about you when you were growing up, Michelle? What was the message that you got from your parents in terms of hard work?
Yeah, well, my parents both work really, really hard. And so I definitely grew up with this mindset of, well, that's going to be me too, right? So I think that they definitely gave me a good work ethic. But they definitely also believe in, taking some time to travel and take vacations and to relax, but definitely hard work. What about you, Lindsay?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, as I've said on this show before, both my brother and my dad they're both entrepreneurs. My dad has an optometry business, and my brother owns a bar, and he's also been a DJ. He's had a DJ business.
Wow.
He had a DJ business when he was like 15. He bought these big
that is so cool.
speakers and started DJing weddings, like adult weddings when he was 15. So, I think it was really in our upbringing. My dad used to say to me when I was 7, he would always say things like, be your own boss, don't work for anyone. He was saying that to me when I was 7 or 8.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I saw him working hard. But anyways, I want to go back to one more statistic just to ground this in something. You know what I mean? Because otherwise we're just throwing out our own ideas. But here's a quote from this survey. It says, true to the stereotype, surveys show that Americans are more likely to believe that hard work pays off. When asked on a scale of 0 to 10 about how important working hard is to getting ahead in life, 73% of Americans said it was a 10. Wow, that's really high, isn't it? Or very important, compared with the global median of 50% among the 44 countries that were surveyed. So, but I mean, there are other barriers to this, right? Around the world, there are certain things that may cause us to feel like success is not in our control. Like, what could some of those be? Michelle, what do you think?
That success is not in our control?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, things like corruption, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And what class you're in, right?
Right. Class differences. And that still exists here. And I think in certain countries, like moving through the classes is easier or harder. I mean, and there's racism, there's prejudice, there's homophobia.
Yeah.
There are real things out in the world, both in the US and in the world, that might cause us to feel like we don't have a chance at success, so we're not going to work for it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. This is deep. This is deep, Lindsay.
I think it's interesting. I can't help but go
deep. It's definitely
deep.
interesting.
I mean, why not? Like in life, I like to look below the surface, right? If we're always just living on the surface, what's the point, right? We got to look at why we're doing things and examine our behaviors, the way we look at the world, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I love learning about this, exactly. Behaviors of different people and why. I know it's very, we should have studied psychology.
I did. Yeah, I did an undergrad in psych. What did you study?
Well, there you go.
What did you study, Michelle, in your undergraduate degree?
I studied theater.
Oh, perfect. We are a great combination.
There you go. But I always found psychology to be so interesting. Like, I wish I had taken some courses in that.
Yeah, well, the other thing they say about psychology is the kind of major for people who don't want to decide. It's, it's the default major in colleges in the US for people who don't know what they want to do. They just go into psychology because psychology is present in everything in our lives.
Right. Yeah. There are a lot of places you can go with that.
If 2016 is your year to finally become charismatic and to be yourself in English, to be more popular and well-liked at work, then this is your time to get our new course called the Charismatic Connector. The price goes up in 2 days, guys, on January 1st. So to get the best possible price and to pre-order your course, go to allearsenglish.com/charisma. That's allearsenglish.com/charisma, and you'll get the charisma equation, the 5 things that you need to do in English to be more popular at work. See you there. Yeah. So last week, Michelle, we talked a little bit about gun violence in the U.S. Remember that episode?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And we talked about how the word gun or these concepts of guns are present in our language. So I want to do that again for this word of work and the concept of work. Let's talk about how we use it in our language in American English. So we introduced one of the phrases when we started today. What was it, Michelle? I asked you.
Oh, you said, do you work like a dog?
And it's a real phrase that we use, isn't it? I mean, do you use this phrase?
Yeah, definitely. It makes me think of the Beatles song, right? A Hard Day's Night.
No, I don't know that. Well, when do
Lindsay!
They say? Oh, what do they say? Is there a line like work like a dog?
It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog.
Oh, so cool. I love it. I love it. You know the Beatles well. I'm not so familiar with the Beatles.
Oh, you gotta listen.
I know. I have to. And so another one is to work yourself into the ground. Whoa.
Yeah. That one's depressing.
It's a little bit depressing, but I don't know. I think it just depends on what you're working for. Again, it goes back to, and the other thing is that in this culture, I mean, the whole narrative in the culture is that the culture is waving like this carrot in front of us and saying, oh, you could reach this level if you did this, and whether that's true or whether it's not true, a lot of people keep, they envision themselves kind of, we have this expression, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know that one?
Yeah, I don't say that one really, but I know it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my dad was born into a lower middle class family.
Mm.
I mean, his dad worked on the streets. He drilled the streets as a construction man. And he worked himself up to more of an upper middle class family, like building up a business.
Wow.
And that's a good example. But he's a white man, and white. I mean, there are real issues of even, sexism.
Oh, yeah.
Classism, racism. I mean, so I don't want to deny that there aren't issues, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. So what's another idiom, Michelle, that we use?
Okay, there's one. This one's cute. Working hard or hardly working?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's funny, right? Why did you say working instead of working?
Because it's kind of, it's a cute way. It's a more casual way of saying it, and it's kind of a cutesy phrase. What do you think? Yeah,
it's cutesy. I mean, casual is definitely, when we drop that G on a lot of verbs, our listeners probably know because they're at this upper intermediate level. It's a way of making it sound casual and fun. Are you working hard or hardly working?
Yeah. It makes me think of, have you heard of work hard to play hard?
Yeah. Work hard and play
Yeah.
hard. Yeah. Sure. Definitely. Is that what you do, Michelle? Are you a work hard, play hard type?
No, I'm not really a play. I mean, it depends what you mean by play hard. I mean,
All work and no play, right? That's from
right.
Silence of the Lambs. No, it's not Silence of the Lambs. That's from what is that movie with Jack Nicholson about the hotel? He was crazy.
Oh, God.
Oh, geez, forgot it. Well, we'll have to get that on the blog. So, guys, you can come back to our blog and we'll try to cite that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. The Shining. The Shining. Yes, The Shining.
Oh, whoa. Did we both remember that at the exact same time?
We did. That's
That
a classic
was
horror
adorable.
movie. Yeah. Here's another one, Michelle. Are you ready? To buckle down. Now, that's a nice-
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about
This
that?
one is common, I think.
Is really common. You need to buckle down, right? Your IELTS exam is coming. I'm sure some of our listeners that will ring true for them. It's time to buckle down, get into a good system, right? And, get
Like,
ready
be
for the
disciplined.
exam. And be disciplined. Yeah, it's a nice phrasal verb there. Buckle down. Doesn't make any sense logically.
I know. I'm thinking about that. Like, what does that mean? Like,
Right, because we buckle, right? What does that verb
we're
mean?
like strapping ourselves to.
When you buckle,
for
you're
work.
like closing your jacket, right? You're buckling your jacket.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It doesn't make
Funny.
any sense, but fine. Another one that I like is when you're on a team. Michelle, have you ever been on a team where someone wasn't pulling their weight?
I think everyone has been in that situation. But what about you?
Well, especially if you've been to graduate school, because in graduate school these days, they put you in groups all the time. And there's always someone who, oh my God, I have a full-time job. Well, everyone has a full-time job in graduate school. There's always someone who can't do the work for some reason.
Yeah.
Sorry to sound bitter. So
No,
the expression,
Lindsay, it's fine.
the expression there is to pull your own weight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So let's practice.
Let's have a conversation. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So, Michelle, are you still working on our episode planning for next week? Gosh, you've been working yourself into the ground lately. I mean, what's up?
I know. I have kind of been working like a dog, but I feel like now that we're getting into 2016, I need to buckle down, right? I mean, we have a lot of goals for All Ears English this year.
I mean, everyone on the team needs to pull their own weight, but I feel like you're going overboard, Michelle. Come on, take the weekend off and we'll get back to brainstorming on Monday.
Okay. Thanks, Lindsay.
Good. Yeah. It's important to take the weekend off, right?
Yeah. You gotta have some time.
Yeah. So, I mean, this has been an interesting episode, and I think that there'll be a lot of comments from our listeners. Guys, I would love to know what you think personally. Do you think that success is inside our control or is it outside our control? Let us know. Come back to our blog, come back to allearsenglish.com, type in 450, go into the comments and leave us a comment. Let us know your work ethic. Do you work like a dog? Do you think that you can become successful if you work hard, or are there other things that are preventing your success? Let us know. We want to know. Let's have a conversation about this.
Yes, please. Yeah, I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say.
I know. Sounds good. All right, Michelle, let's wrap it up for today. I'll see you back here tomorrow.
All right. See you, Lindsay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to All Ears English. And if you're taking your IELTS exam this fall, get our free IELTS checklist, the 7 easy steps to a 7 or higher on the IELTS. And if you believe in connection, not perfection, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your phone or on your computer. See you next time.
Aubrey, what was your favorite idiom from the episode?
I love live to work, not work to live, right? I think work-life balance is so important, not only for the IELTS exam, but for life. So it's like a win-win here that you're learning this great vocab for IELTS and also these great tips on getting that work-life balance.
Totally. And guys, they really go deep in this episode, talking about the barriers to working as hard as one wants to. I mean, it's not always about your own personal work ethic, like how hard you want to work. Sometimes there are outside barriers preventing you from work, like class, racism, sexism. All of these ideas, guys, are so impressive, and you have to be able to think about this and talk about this in English to really impress the examiner, to go deep into those advanced topics that you might get in speaking part 3 or writing task 2.
Yes. And also the idiom pull your own weight would be so
Yes. I
useful on
love
the
it.
exam, right? It's definitely idiomatic, rare enough to be interesting. And you could say, I always pull my own weight at work and at home. I work hard at the office and then I come home and I'm making dinner and taking care of my kids. So you can see how you could use this for lots of different questions.
Yeah, that idiom, guys, to pull your own weight. That could be used in speaking part one in so many different answers, guys,
Yeah.
but obviously just use it once. You don't want to repeat it. But definitely, guys, listen to today's episode a couple times. If you missed something, listen again and take notes. And remember to follow the Business English podcast, the new show from All Ears English, because, guys, English isn't just for IELTS. All of this stuff will help you on IELTS for sure, like you could tell from the episode today. But remember that English is also about your future. So tune in, guys. Follow that Business English podcast.
Awesome. Yes, go to allearsenglish.com/try, Try, to check it out. Thanks, Jessica. This was really fun.
Awesome. Super fun. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.